we'll make a start. Hello, I'm Scott Watson, and I'd like to welcome all of you to this morning's event. Demo Day marks the end of our latest online Accelerator program, and we've had the great pleasure of working with this group of fantastic new businesses since May. For those of you who don't know, we run 3 of these programs each year. They consist of 7 workshops, bespoke coaching and mentoring, and a business development grant. By working closely with our delivery partner, SME Centre of Excellence, we provide the businesses with everything they need to succeed to build robust and sustainable businesses here in the Tees Valley. So all 6 businesses pitching this morning, unfortunately Helly Dragons had to withdraw. They're at different stages on the business journey and they're offering a diverse range of products and services, as you will soon find out. So the format of the event is a 5-minute pitch from each business. We'd encourage you to post your questions in the chat panel during the pitches, which we'll put to the businesses during the designated Q&A slots. And obviously we'll be happy to make referrals after the event, should you be interested in supporting, collaborating, or even commissioning any of their services. We're delighted to be welcoming back to the fold Robert Bedford of Juiced as our guest speaker this morning. We're really looking forward to hearing about some of the exciting developments that have taken place in his business since he was on the Accelerator program in 2019. Just in terms of housekeeping, it would be great if you could mute your mics and turn off your cameras during the pitches to manage the bandwidth. And now onto the pitches themselves. First up is Ahmed Abbas, who has created digital platform Peer to meet the demands of the growing sharing economy. Peer enables consumers and businesses to share items conveniently via an all-in-one mobile-friendly platform. It helps its customers to generate an income from their underused possessions and assets. Ahmed describes a community-focused solution as the Facebook marketplace for sharing. And over to you, Ahmed.
Good morning. Sorry, I was on mute and I was talking to myself. Right, I'll share my screen. Okay.
Thanks, Ahmed.
Thank you. All right, good morning, everybody. So my name is Ahmed and I'm the founder of Peer Ltd. So just before we do begin, I just want to take you back in time, a time when we had cavemen and cavewomen, a time when Amazon Prime was not available, global warming didn't really exist, and the word technology wasn't a thing. However, there was one word in their vocabulary, and that was sharing. Sharing because they were unable to purchase items from a store, they had to borrow and share clothes and items with each other. Fast forward to the 21st century, from the Industrial Revolution until now, we've moved away from a society where we share, and this has a negative effect on the environment. However, things are changing and people are moving away from just owning stuff. And this is why the sharing economy is growing. So this is an interesting fact that I'd like to share with everybody, and that is 80% of your items are only used once a month, and some are only even used once a year. So there's money to be made from your underutilized possessions and assets. So how much is the sharing economy worth? So by 2025, it's estimated that the sharing economy will be worth $335 billion. So some examples of companies within the sharing economy. So of course, we've got Airbnb and Uber, but also companies such as Just Park for parking spaces and Fat Llama for items. So what's making the sharing economy grow so quickly? 3 things. Number 1, technology. It bridges the gap. Number 2, it creates value for the user. You make money from it simply. And number 3, which is the big one, it is a lot more sustainable. So let's look at a day in the life of the sharing economy. So this is Peter. He's an avid user of the sharing economy. He uses it from day to night. So he uses it to rent his car, his bike, find accommodation. However, the issue is Peter's using more than one platform. So let's look at his phone. There's several apps, more than 3 applications on his phone to participate within the sharing economy, which is an issue because it takes up storage. Number 2, it's not a good user experience because each platform will be different to use and interact with. And number 3, it also means Peter would have to create several accounts. So ultimately, it's not a great customer experience and it disencourages people to participate within the sharing economy. So what is the solution? Well, the solution is Peer. Why? Because we're not reinventing the wheel, we're just improving what's out there. Our platform is a platform where you can rent anything from your car to your underused office spaces. We want to combine all the sharing economy services in one easy to use platform. So where are we currently? Where are we at the moment? At the moment, we've set up our MVP, the website that is mobile friendly, where people can list their parking space, their garage and co-working space. And of course, I'm also happy to announce that we've been able to get Koshabang to list their spaces on our platform. So as you can see, they've created their listing. And once a person's ready to book, they will put in the dates that they want and then pay using credit or debit card. So the important bit here is, how does Peer make money? So Peer makes money by charging a 10% commission for each transaction. And also later down the line, when we have more users on the platform, we'll also charge a fee to help users in creating a listing, because we know this is a pain point for many users. It is a big issue. So the plan for Peer, what is the plan? So the plan is to become the largest marketplace within the sharing economy, have an an application that will accommodate everything from your car to your accommodation. In 5-10 years time, become an international brand is also the aim. So I've also created a prototype of how the app would feel like. So I'm more than happy to share the link with yourself, of course. So that is my presentation. Of course, thank you for listening. Put in my details at the bottom, so my email, my LinkedIn and website. So my ask would be, of course, if there's any grants or any funding available to help accelerate Peer, that'd be wonderful. Also, if you've got any office, parking or garage space that you want to list, please feel free to do that. And if not, it's absolutely fine. Feel free to share it with your friends and family, because at the end of the day, sharing is caring. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks very much, Ahmed. Enjoyed that.
Thank you.
There'll be an opportunity to run some of your questions past Ahmed during the first Q&A session. So swiftly moving on, I'd like to introduce Emma Riley from WobbleFit. WobbleFit is a digital platform that helps women who have an endocrine disorder to regain control over their physical fitness and health. Having built an MVP, Emma Riley's gauging user feedback and testing critical assumptions before going to market and potentially white labeling the platform for other users. Emma will explain more.
Thanks, Scott. Just share my screen. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Emma Riley and my company is WobbleFit. So we help to reduce the burden of obesity and other symptoms amongst individuals with hormone disorders. So hormones are kind of like the electrical system of the body, and it's estimated that 75% of the population actually have some form of hormone disorder. You'll probably be familiar with things like diabetes, PCOS, even menopause. There's a multitude of different symptoms that affect people on a daily basis, but the most well-known, of course, is obesity. And it's estimated that the majority of those who have obesity have some level of hormone imbalance or disorder. Now, the trouble is that this is becoming an epidemic amongst people within the UK, amongst adults. And services are currently underfunded, oversubscribed, and many of the access to these kinds of services that help people are just not available to the community. So what we do is we actually help individuals take control of their hormones by using data. So what we do is we offer an optional blood test, which actually gives us a baseline of that user. But what we do is we help them by symptom tracking, and this is everything from skin quality to health to hair quality, hunger, thirst, etc. And from the back of that data, we can actually create bespoke nutrition fitness plans created by experts. And this is supported by a community of users who all have different types of hormone disorders. So just a little bit about the journey so far. So I actually started as a Princess Trust entrepreneur back in 2012. I started as a graphic designer and was doing really, really well. And then in 2016, I was actually diagnosed with endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome, both very common hormone disorders amongst women. And this led me to having multiple surgeries and really affected me. So from the back of that, I actually launched a mental health app and was really lucky to win a £300,000 grant from Innovate UK. We kind of beat most of the competition, which we were really proud of. And obviously 2021 came around with COVID, and I decided that WobbleFit was my next step. So the traction today is we launched the MVP just a few weeks ago in June, and we're getting about 25 women per day on the platform. And we've also leading an expert consortium of academics and companies to do another Innovate UK bid. The biggest of those is University of Hull, and we're working with the dietetics department, sports science, and the endocrine disorder department within Hull Medical School. Seem to have frozen, excuse me. There we go. So the market that I actually focus on is actually the female health market. So targeting those women with endocrine such as endometriosis and PCOS. This actually gives us an accessible market of 25 million women in the UK. And the trouble is a lot of our competitors are kind of focusing on kind of the general user. So you'll obviously be very familiar with like Weight Watchers, Slim and World, Peloton. And it's expected that individuals will kind of go in at a certain point and have this lovely healthy curve of weight loss and fitness. But obviously women with endocrine disorders don't have that. It's much more of a wobbly line, hence our name. And a lot of our users are already hanging out on services such as Facebook and Instagram within groups. So that's how we're going to target these users through very targeted ads online. So the team, obviously myself, the founder and CEO, my co-founder Manjit is based in Glasgow, and he's actually had over 20 years experience working in health tech and has actually had a successful exit from his own company in the US. So he's kind of come on to be the kind of the business and management director. So the model that we're actually taking is that the optional blood test is £100. It's just an at-home finger prick test, and it's recommended that users have at least 1 or 2 of those per year. The majority of the services that we offer on the app are free. So the tracking, we have a lot of kind of free content for fitness and health, but we also have a pay-as-you-go option and a subscription model where people can actually buy high-end content that maybe lasts 3 to 6 weeks, whether it's fitness programs or dietary programs that are tailored to their condition. So obviously my ask is I would love for you all to kind of check out WobbleFit online. Obviously this is going to be a service that we'd like to expand into the community, so we'd love to talk to anyone that can help us to do that. And any kind of investment or business inquiries, I'd love to kind of talk to you as we will be raising around kind of towards the autumn, so you can contact me at these details.
Thanks very much, Emma. Thank you. And next up is Rowan Hunter from Assessment Key Limited. Assessment Key is a digital tool that is being developed by social worker and lecturer Rowan Hunter. The platform solves all manner of problems in the sector and will aid social workers and other safeguarding organisations with the management of child welfare while assisting with the writing of detailed court reports. Over to you, Rowan.
Thank you. Thanks. Just give me a moment. Okay, so what makes a good product? The best products provide real solutions. They fix clear, unfulfilled need, and they make lives easier. If the product also saves a lot of money for those who are using it, then even better. My product fills such a gap. It fixes a lot of problems. It makes lives easier and even better. It also saves the customers a huge amount of money. Better still, it's unlooked for and unique and can be introduced both in the UK and abroad. The area this tool addresses is that of the social care field, specifically children's services, the courts, and all organisations and agencies associated with this. Services essentially function as they did in the 1950s. Information is not available to other teams or professionals. Soaring yearly case numbers have led to a system that is struggling to function. If something is missed, it's down to the individual worker, not the system. The average lifespan of a social worker is about 6 months to 3 years because of this. Cases are based on scanty information, often focusing on one issue alone. The courts are also struggling, trying to make decisions on little information. Cases take months to reach conclusion, and all the while children and families suffer. The issues are outdated systems, overworked staff, high staff turnover, rising case numbers, inexperienced staff failing to understand what they're seeing, poor inconsistent data recording, compartmentalized storage of information, poor assessments, little information available to the courts, and ultimately the suffering of children and families. Budgets are enormous, yet sadly they are spent in throwing inexperienced staff at the same problems. So what is the solution? The premise is a technological system to guide inexperienced workers through a detailed assessment process. The initial study using file-based assessment system tested on 51 families over 3 years showed an average of 80% more data being collected. This data
Rowan, sorry to cut across there. You are a little bit quiet, if you wouldn't mind just
oh, sorry, is that a little bit better?
Yeah, that's a million times better. Thanks, Rowan.
This microphone, I'm terribly sorry. Sorry, I'll start there. The initial study was based on 51 families over 3 years. The data that was collected was organized, consistent, highly detailed, and contributed to many good assessments. The system had to gather quality, consistent information, process data for the workers, and present it to them in simple, obvious, and clear ways, such as graphs. The system, not the inexperienced worker, needed to produce reports for meetings, simple reports for parents, and detailed analytical and evidence-based assessments for the courts. This is what I've called the Contact Assessment Toolkit, or CAT. It uses apps designed for entry-level workers to gather information on families, guiding them through a detailed assessment process. It processes all data and provides it to them through a visual interface. It actually writes in words detailed evidence-based reports for the worker. CAT is systems changing. It will save huge amounts of time. It will produce far better evidence-based assessments, and it will save a lot of money. The market size, well, the market is enormous. There are 40,000 social workers in England alone. If each one has just one copy of the software leased to them on a yearly basis for £100, that equals £4 million. In the whole of the UK, this figure's doubled year upon year. CAT is non-legislative specific. It can be used in all the UK nations and can be easily implemented abroad also. It's badly needed, it's unlooked for, and there are no competitors. This tool can achieve enormous social good, yet can also be significantly profitable. And more than that, it's clearly needed. Which brings me to the next bit, which is what I need. Sorry, I forgot to click my slides through. This is a system that requires promotion, both visually and in person. It needs to have a significant presence online in landing and information pages, virtual training on its use, and in the form of videos and tutorials. It needs people to know about it, to understand it, and then to use it. To do this, we need a small team, a computer programmer, marketing workers, and a manager. This would be what we would need in the first year. A budget for online and other advertising and promotions would also be required. Ideally, an investment of around £200,000 would achieve this. Again, this is a tool with no competitors. The larger the budget, the faster the tool will be absorbed as a basic requirement of good practice for all workers. And here's a graph which just gives an idea about the trajectory of profits with and without investment. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rowan.
Thanks very much, Rowan. Yeah, so now that we're halfway through the pitches, we'll take a short pause for questions. And I noticed there have been some questions posted in chat. One from Simon Crabtree to you, Ahmed, I believe. How do you deal with liability for personal goods?
So at the moment, this is why we've done only car parking, co-working space, because there's no cost for insurance. You only list in your spaces. But later down the line, once we do start adding in bikes and cars, there will need to be an element of insurance, because this is what other companies are doing. So it would be a cost for the consumer to pay or a cost for a business. So it's just implement insurance within once they place the order for the item they want. Hopefully that answers your question. Don't know if you can
Thanks,
hear me.
Ahmed.
Yeah, perfect.
And another for you from Alex Gent.
Yeah.
Getting
Right
rough
away.
this morning, Ahmed. What are the main channels available for growing the content available for sharing on the site?
Okay, really good question. And it's about, I think for at the moment, really early stages, but it's about getting virality and getting that chain of a person sharing, saying, oh, here's my stuff on this site, and getting them to share with their friends and family. And then it'll be a sustainable loop where people start sharing the website link with each other. But at the start, it's about creating a comprehensive marketing strategy. So whereby the marketing strategy will be inspirational, that people will want to share. So using Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, especially for co-working office spaces.
Thanks, Ahmed. We have a question from Lisa Van Pereveld. Lisa, I think this question might be for Emma. Would that be right? You could turn your mic on.
Thank you.
I think it might be for myself.
Oh, right, okay. Great. Okay, Rowan, so why do you think there are currently no competitors, and what are the barriers to entering the market? Thank you.
No problem. Well, this is a field which I've worked in a huge amount, and I know the system, and I know that it's very much paper-based almost. There are computer systems for storing information, but nothing to share it. There's also nothing, it's just simply something no one's thought of. I've got a group of other workers who are across the field who I've used to consult with, who are currently working in these areas. And again, we know that there's simply nothing like it. This tool can also be used for Ofsted and for CAFCAS as well, which are sister organizations, to kind of monitor. And again, we have contacts in there, and we know very well that there's nothing like this at all. The barriers in entering the market, well, this is a traditional market, and things have been done this way for decades. I think the key is to gain a huge amount of understanding by really good marketing, by letting people know about it and to understand the benefits, which is one of the reasons why I do need an investment to actually get a lot of information online. Yeah, and it's about getting out and meeting people as well. I hope that's helpful.
Thanks, Rowan. Thank you. And a question from Alex Gent to Emma. Where women may not yet have received any sort of formal diagnosis, is there an education piece around the impact of hormones on weight to be done as part of the marketing strategy for women who may not have considered it before?
Yeah, that's actually a really great point, because especially endometriosis actually has a really long diagnostic wait. The average is about 7 years. So there's a lot of women out there who may or may not know that they have these conditions. So there's a massive piece to actually help understand for everybody how much an importance hormones actually play, not just in for females, but for men as well. So yeah, that will kind of become through a lot of our kind of content, and through people's stories, and hopefully people will be able to relate through other stories that maybe they see something in themselves.
Thanks, Emma. And a question from James Robson for Ahmed. How do you see your platform sitting with thrift and other clothing upcycling websites? You're on mute.
Yeah. Really, really good question. See, for clothes and upcycling websites, it is part of the sharing, and I think there's so I did a survey and it was the least popular requested item to share actually. So maybe something to put in, because obviously I want to be able to put in these services later on in stages, not all at once. At the moment, I haven't really got an answer for that one. I'm going to be honest, James. It's just playing it by ear, I guess, for that one, especially for clothes, because it is the least requested one as a service anyway. But there is potential, and we'll see things moving forward and how it needs to work out.
So it's really a case of responding to demand. Now you've got the platform up and running, building a customer base, and then responding to
Exactly.
what the consumer wants out of it, I guess, is going to shape the future of the platform for you. Thank you. Thanks for the question, James. From Max Bradshaw, if you're looking for help with a marketing strategy to support bringing a new product to market, check out my marketing button, as this online tool can be 100% bespoke to your marketing activity. So great piece of promotion there from Max. I've got to say, endorse the platform that she's developed there. It's great. Okay, no further questions in chat. Would anybody like to ask any of the businesses a question before we move on to the next presentations?
Scott, I have a question for Emma. Emma, is there anybody in the public eye that can be an ambassador for your product that you can partner with or reach out to that would help?
Yeah, that's actually something we've been looking at. There's a number of women in the public eye who have come out with either they've either got PCOS or endometriosis. Emma Thompson, Daisy Ridley from Star Wars. These are just a few jewels. Oliver, who's the wife of Jamie Oliver. These are a number of people. I actually started reaching out to press officers. They're obviously like the gatekeepers to these people. So it's as a small startup, it's just a bit of a process to kind of get to these people. But it is in my vision to do that.
Wonderful, great route to market.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. Thanks, Martin. If there are any further questions before we move on, or shall we move on?
Scott, I have a question of Rowan.
Justin,
Rowan, could you tell us about your co-founders, please?
Co-founders. Well, these are people who I know in these fields.
Rowan,
how many of them are there?
Please hold your mic to your mouth, Rowan. You're a bit.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yes. It's essentially a steering group of people who I know. It's rather informal. I think there's probably about 5 or 6 of them in total. Is that helpful? So I've got people in education, and I've got one lady who works in CAFCAS, another one who used to work for Ofsted and who still has contacts and that sort of thing.
Basically, people with different expertise across the sectors that feed into assessment. Okay, yeah, so you've got that real sort of real world understanding of the sector. Great, thank you.
No problem.
And I think a final question we'll take in this session is one from Max Bradshaw. Emma, are you finding interest from teenagers?
We haven't really targeted teenagers yet. Obviously, there's a bit of a grey area in terms of kind of offering services to teens, particularly under the age of 16. But I know from speaking to parents that this could be a great interest, and maybe something we could do as part of an education piece for schools, because obviously period education in schools is quite poor, and services around endometriosis and PCOS and even menopause are not discussed. So we see this as maybe an opportunity where we can actually partner and do some stuff, do some presentations and work in workshops within schools.
Thanks very much, Emma. I'm conscious of time, so we will move on, but please do continue to post your questions in chat. We'll pick them up a bit later on. So I'm going to introduce Lopez from Indigo Spark Limited. Indigo Spark is a new spin out from Wynyard-based Hospitality Guaranteed. It's a software business that specialises in the creation of tools to help its clients to manage training and apprenticeship programs. The services offered by Indigo Spark include bespoke software development, mobile application development, reports and analytics, and much more. Over to you, Lopez.
Hi, that's Scott. Good morning. So 2 seconds, let me enable my camera. Can I share my screen to my presentation?
You hit
Okay.
the arrow button at the bottom, Lopez. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Hi there. My name is, as Scott mentioned, Ulriken. Also, people know me as Lopez. So I'm representing the Indigo Spark. I'm a CTO, Chief Technology Officer at Indigo Spark. So let's start. So Indigo Spark is founded by Victoria Brunton in late 2020. And we are specialized on software as a service product on continuous improvement for the training service providers and the risk management, creating risk management tools to manage continuous improvement and risk management. Currently, we are located in North Yorkshire, Moors. We are so proud of it. And then we are going to soon celebrate our first year anniversary. Our organization structure looks like this. Victoria is a CEO within the company, and myself as a CTO. We got Louise. She's our commercial director, and then she has a legal background, and she's a lawyer. And also we got 2 senior developers. They are located in North Yorkshire as well. They at the moment they work from home, and also they visit the office. And then we also have our lovely lady Karen she's our finance manager within the company. Recently, Victoria at the moment, obviously, she's a CEO of our company, Indigo Spark, but also she owns another company called Hospitality Guaranteed. Hospitality Guaranteed provides training facilities to blue chip companies, training service providers. They are well known internationally and also within the UK. So what we come across with one of the clients that we have shared with Hospitality Guaranteed, that they came across an issue which the managing the continuous improvement within the business and also managing the risks. It was really difficult because they were using different platforms. They were using Excel sheets. And the communication was near to zero. So for that reason, this blue chip client lost a client worth £1.5 million. So this is where we came up with the idea to be able to enable big clients to manage their continuous improvement within their business and also manage the risks as well. For that reason, we built our own application called Spark CI, which enables to all clients to collect feedback, valuable feedback, identify the issues and risks from those feedbacks, and manage those issues and risks. They'll be able to implement the root cause analysis, and also we have capabilities which sits on top of the existing systems, which allows the clients to make educated decisions for AI and machine learning. So this is at the moment our product at the moment currently in development stage. Recently, we've released the product to testing. So currently it's going through the quality analysis. And then we are hoping to go live with the product within the next couple of months. As I mentioned, our CEO, Victoria Brunton, has another business, Hospitality Guaranteed, which she has enormous amount of contacts that we have access to. That enables us to target hospitality business hospitality industries, training providers, retail, housing, financial, and tech companies, which it gives us a instant access through Victoria Brompton. We've implemented a market analysis, so there are quite a variety of tools out there. Those section of the tool that we have, but there's a very limited amount of software products does it all, if that makes sense. So taking feedback from the client, or could be an audit results, and then raising issues, and then pushing, raising risks, and then analyzing all those results with the AI and machine learning, and providing predictions, and also educated forecast. So our tools enable us to do that. There are currently 4 applications that we know you can achieve to do this, but they have limitations as well. So these products are Microsoft Jira, Anaplan, and the Go Audit products. Our marketing plan is, first, we are targeting the hospitality guaranteed, as we have instant access to the contacts. And then we are going to target Babcock, which is one of the biggest training service provider. They are also a customer of Hospitality Guaranteed, and also customer of ours as well. We develop Power BI reports and etc. And then finally, again, we are going to go into the Hospitality Guaranteed pool, which gives us an opportunity to provide our services to Greggs, Bosch, Asda, GTG, and even Amazon. These are the financial predictions. This is what we want to achieve, because currently we are working on our pricing structure with the help of SME and also Digital City. So we're trying to kind of understand what is worth of our product, if that makes sense. So these are the predictions that we have. This is our year 1. At the moment, we are currently providing our services to a couple of clients, and also building our tool. So the year 1 is correct. Year 2 is a forecast that we have, and year 3 as well. Okay. Today we've conducted our pitch for 15% of the company, and we are asking for £220,000 for address all issues that we are having with the resource. So thank you very much for listening.
Thanks very much, Lopez. And as with the other presentations, there'll be an opportunity to run some of your questions past Lopez in the second Q&A section. So we're going to swiftly move on. StudyWorks is an educational web application which has a key focus on fighting cyber slacking. So that's students spending too much time on social media instead of studying. The StudyWorks platform features a number of revolutionary features, tools, and interactive content, with an additional focus on mental health and well-being for students. To tell us more this morning is StudyWorks founder Joe Stokeld.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear, Joe, thank you.
Great, well, good morning. My name is Joe, and I am the founder of StudyWorks. And I wanted to begin this morning by highlighting 3 challenges currently facing secondary school students. The first issue is digital distraction, which has been an ongoing problem for student productivity in the age of social media and YouTube. Studies have found that students are spending up to 6 hours a day on digital media, which is distracting them from their work and eating into their productivity. The second issue surrounds mental health. With the pandemic, we have seen up to a third of young people in the UK saying they are struggling with mental well-being, with issues such as anxiety and feeling overwhelmed significantly increasing. This is having a material impact on their emotional well-being and schoolwork. The third issue relates to motivation in general. Historical studies have shown that up to 40% of students can be chronically disengaged from schoolwork, and motivation to do their work and achieve their goals can be an ongoing battle for teachers, parents, and the students themselves. So what is StudyWorks and how does it help combat these issues? Well, StudyWorks is a web application that combines homework management software and online streaming. The key feature of the platform is we give secondary school students regular video breaks as they complete their work. These videos typically feature influencers and public figures such as actors, musicians, and sports personalities. Through these regular video breaks, we address the issue of cyberslacking by providing exciting, original entertainment that they can only get if they do their homework. We draw students in and give them a reason to start their work. We also keep them engaged, motivated, and connected to their study session, but in a specific time-limited way. This prevents them from going down a rabbit hole on YouTube or social media in their study breaks. At the same time, we integrate mental health themes into our videos to support students as they complete their work. Those video breaks are typically 5 minutes long and occur every 20 to 30 minutes, as you can see at the bottom of this slide. As I said, video content typically features actors, musicians, and sports personalities. We call these study partners, and their job is to keep the student company as they do their homework. Each study partner provides entertainment and light relief from studying and also addresses a specific motivational or mental health topic. The study partner here is Emmanuel Kojo. He's about to play the Beast in Disney's Beauty and the Beast on the West End, and the theme for his study session is managing pressure. So in the video breaks, he gives students a behind-the-scenes tour of the theatre where he's performing, but he also spends some time talking about how he manages nerves and pressure when he's about to go on stage. So we recommend this to students if they are feeling pressure about a test or an upcoming exam, or just in general. Moving on to our business model, well, we have a premium subscription model. Organizational tools such as a homework planner and some limited content on the app is available for free. But for key video content and the full range of study partners, a premium subscription is required. We have a target subscription rate of £4.99 or $4.99 per month and are looking to launch in both the UK and the US in mid-2022. Our initial focus will be on parent paid subscriptions, with a further rollout to school subscriptions after that, with schools receiving discounts on a per student basis. What stage are we currently at? Well, a demo of the application is nearing completion and will be trialed amongst students at selected schools later this summer. We are fully funded for that process and will have 4 study sessions on the application. We are then looking to raise £300,000 in seed funding through an SEIS-EIS structure. That funding will include finalization of the web and mobile apps and filming and production of an additional 20 study sessions. If we look at our year 1 targets and the upside potential for the business, well, firstly, we believe the market opportunity is significant. There are 50 million 10 to 19-year-olds in the UK and the US. We are targeting 60,000 subscribers by the end of year 1, which equates to 0.12% of the demographic in those markets. We believe we can achieve that, particularly since our study partners will be advertising StudyWorks through their social media accounts. For context on that, one of our study partners is an actor from a Netflix TV series, and she currently has 4 million Instagram followers with a large weighting to teenagers within that following. At 60,000 subscribers, we can generate a significant amount of more content with around 300 study sessions. And in that scenario, we will recover the seed investment in year 1 with increasing upside from there as subscribers are added, given the largely fixed costs from creating the content. And to give an idea of the potential for the business, if we achieved 200,000 subscribers, that would equate to £5.5 million profit before tax per annum, increasing exponentially as new subscribers are added. I'll just finish by briefly mentioning our team members. So myself, I was previously an equity analyst for 10 years and have experience in corporate valuation and fundraising and IPOs. Our director of content is Trisha Ward. She's an award-winning director and composer. And alongside StudyWorks, she's currently directing a feature film with a major studio. Production side is John Ward. He's worked for most of the major television networks for over 15 years. And our director of photography is Jamie Bullman. He has over 10 years in content creation and he handles the filming and also the post-production. So I will leave it there for now. Thank you very much for listening and happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Joe. And there'll be an opportunity to pose questions to Joe during the second Q&A session. I shall swiftly move on to Jack Pickering from Snaps Limited. Snaps is a new digital tech business based in Stockton-on-Tees. The business was founded by Jack Pickering to provide businesses in the hospitality sector with an affordable range of instant mobile apps, which are both easy to manage and are instantly accessible by their customers. A number of well-known Tees Valley-based brands are already reaping the rewards of being on the Snaps network, and Jack is going to explain more.
Hello guys, thanks for joining today. So, introducing Snaps, introducing the new way to take away by Snaps, a social solution for the takeaway market. The takeaway market is currently dominated by takeaway apps like Just Eat, Deliveroo and Uber Eats. However, these apps come with a wide range of issues. They charge an extremely high level of commission, sometimes charging up to 30% of an order that is placed on the platforms. Every profile on the apps have the same layout, making it really difficult for takeaways to stand out from the crowd, and orders are dominated by people wanting their food as soon as possible, meaning a huge influx of orders in busy periods results in a huge amount of food that the kitchen has to cook immediately, usually resulting in either late orders or lower quality food, both disappointing customers and resulting in lower customer retention rates. Takeaway owners' current alternatives is to use their own branded mobile website or app. FoodHub is the main business in this market in the UK. However, this solution has its own issues. The user experience on websites by FoodHub are extremely poor, resulting in high drop-off rates and reducing the chances of customers reordering. The FoodHub app gets a low amount of users as they don't advertise as much as the big competitors, and they also heavily rely on ASAP orders, again causing a huge influx of orders, which usually results in an increase in customer complaints. This means that takeaways that choose not to go on the big takeaway apps have to put a huge amount of effort into getting people to order from their websites, and usually ends up in frustrated customers and a lower amount of sales. Introducing Snaps, the new way to take away. Snaps are mobile web apps that offer a premium customer experience without downloading anything. Customers can easily browse the takeaway menu and place an order. Each takeaway snap is designed specifically for their brand and their customers, meaning they stand out from the crowd with a brand they've spent so long creating. And snaps use a slot-based system, meaning takeaways can specify exactly how many orders they can take throughout the shift, allowing orders to maximize their kitchen capacity and food quality while setting customer expectations early. Snaps are designed for discoverability. They are designed for mobiles, which allows them to integrate seamlessly into the takeaway owner's social media platforms. Followers can go from seeing a post on Facebook or receiving a message on WhatsApp to placing an order instantly, converting their followers into customers. And customers can also access Snaps by scanning QR codes on menus, leaflets, or takeaway boxes, or simply visiting their website. Our business model is based off commission. We charge a low rate of commission for every order that goes through the platform, between 4.5% and 6%, leaving us much cheaper than Just Eat and Deliveroo and virtually the same price as FoodHub. Since November, we've given the power back to over 30 local businesses, generating over £1.2 million worth of payments across 60,000 orders. We've attracted some of the biggest takeaway brands in Teesside, from the likes of Tomahawk Steakhouse, Salt, Ding and Flank, all of whom love the fact that they get their own branded app that works directly through their social media channels. We plan to expand by allowing people to create their own listing apps like Just Eat and Deliveroo as well. Social media pages that promote food will be able to easily create their own listing app that contains a list of snaps that customers can buy from. For example, Steak Bible could easily create Steak Bible Eats and add it to their Facebook page. They would then receive commission on any sales that they get for those takeaways. This creates a viral circle where everybody wins. Takeaways get free marketing, influencers can generate more revenue from their followers, and Snaps can use influencers to attract more businesses and generate more orders. We already have the 3 biggest Facebook pages in Teesside ready to sign up: Rate My Takeaway, Steak Bible and Parmo Bible. The takeaway market in the UK is huge. As you can see by this graphic, there are over 36,000 takeaways in the UK that make a whopping £8.9 billion a year. From our research, we believe around 40% of these fit into our ideal customer criteria, and from our sales data, we believe we can convert 25% of those. This gives us a serviceable, addressable market of 3,600 takeaways, producing £890 million a year annually. And in our first year, we hope to obtain 110 takeaways in Teesside, producing £24 million a year. Our team has a strong tech background with over 40 years combined experience. I, the founder, have a first-class degree in computer science and have previously started my own cryptocurrency startup. James has had a fast-track sales career, helping a tech startup reach $100 million in funding before joining Snaps as head of sales. Our technical advisor and investor is a CTO for an international tech company, and our sales advisor and investor now runs the 4th largest takeaway on food hub in the UK and is actively using Snaps in his venue. And together, we're creating a better world for takeaway owners, a world where they can show off their brand, share something they're proud of, and connect with their customers better than they ever could before. We're creating the new way to take away. If you'd like to find out more information, please drop me an email or obviously ask the questions after this. And if you'd like to try one out, feel free to scan that QR code and have a go at it. But warning, this is a real takeaway, so don't place an order. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, thanks very much, Jack. And that concludes the presentations from the businesses who are pitching today. But before I hand over to our guest speaker, we'll take any questions that have been posed to these 3 businesses that are presented in section 2 in the chat. And I noticed there was a question from James Robson. For you, Joe, do you have an idea yet on how much a school or trust-wide subscription might cost? Could there be a split in subscription between the parents and the school?
Yeah, I think that's certainly a possibility in terms of split subscription. I think it would be discounted. So at the moment, we're working on the assumption that that might be 40%, something in that region. So if it's $4.99 for a parent-paid private subscription, as it were, it might be, say, $2.99 a month per student for the schools. But I think at the moment, what we're focusing on is the private subscriptions first, because as we have the study partners come on board, we essentially, through the content costs that we're spending, we get some free marketing on the back of that anyway, because they will promote it on their accounts. So in order to use that, we'll go for the private subscriptions first. But I think in terms of the strategy, what we'll have to have is the ability to pivot towards the school subscriptions if we find that we're getting more traction there as well. So the price point for the schools, I think we're still figuring that out. It feels like it could be, say, £2.50, £2.99 a month per student for a school subscription. But if we get more traction with the schools, because it's a very competitive marketplace, but if that does happen, then I think we'd be looking to put a small sales team together and to pivot towards that over the private subscriptions.
Brilliant, thanks, Joe. And a question for you, Jack, from Simon Crabtree. Delivery is about to delivery for perhaps people who don't want to collect. How do you deal with the delivery issue?
Yeah, great question, Simon. So basically, we do also do delivery orders. It's not something that we don't offer. So each venue, if they do already offer delivery with their own drivers, can easily add delivery on there. They basically can add a radius and different delivery fees, just the same way as they do on Deliveroo and Just Eat, but they would have to do their own deliveries. We're now working with a provider called Stuart as well, who's the largest independent delivery service, where they would basically drive over to the takeaway, pick it up and drop it off for them, and the customer would have to pay that fee. So the takeaway doesn't actually have to incur any charges, which is different to the likes of Deliveroo and Uber Eats, where the takeaway has to pay for the delivery because the commission goes from 15% for a collection to 30% for a delivery. So we actually managed to save the businesses money.
Thanks, Jack. And another question for you, Joe, from Lisa van Herreveld. Might have missed it, but how do you attract the study partners and influencers? Do you pay them?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We do pay them, but half the challenge a lot of the time is actually just getting their time. So we do pay them, but what we're finding is that they're very responsive because of the educational angle and the mental health angle. So versus, say, other products and services, what they've said so far, the feedback so far has been that they're very, very keen to do this. But what we try and do is find the right fit with the study partners. So we look to people who have already done some educational work and are going into schools and already have some kind of track record in this area. So we try and align it as best we can on that, but we do pay them a fee for the filming of the study sessions.
Excellent, thanks, Joe. I think we've gone through all the questions that are in the chat. Before we move on to the guest speakers, would anybody like to ask a question of any of the businesses that have presented this morning?
I think there's one more question in chat from David.
Oh yeah, to Lopez.
Yeah.
Hi Lopez, how will you compete against the likes of virtual college and the brand awareness that they already have? You're on mute. You're on mute, Lopez.
Okay, sorry about that. So, thank you very much for the question. I think we are going to compete with these kind of competitors with our AI capabilities, which also we have an instant access of the clients that to our disposal, if that makes sense, through Hospitality Guaranteed. So at the moment, we are at the stage that we are developing our application, which is going to go live. But what we are doing is we are collaborating with these clients already. So we are going to provide our application soon to them to test it and use it for us, get the feedback. So I think this is really important, understanding clients' needs. Specifically, this application as well, we are not kind of limited to just the managing continuous improvement or managing risk management, because where do we develop these applications are that they are individual applications, if that makes sense. So we can say it's okay, we can use our feedback application. They can purchase our feedback application only, and then they can use it instead of SurveyMonkey, for example. They can use our risk management application instead of Jira or any other risk management applications. But what we are providing is the single platform manages all the continuous improvement, all the risk management, all the orders, everything is in a harmony. And then your data is in one place, if that makes sense. So you don't have to data harvest from here and there, and it's secure as well. I think this is the way we are going to compete with these competitors.
Thank you. Can I just ask one question to everybody, Scott?
Go on, yeah.
I mean, there's absolutely cracking presentations today, some of them, and Jack in particular, I think you've got a magic proposition on hand there. But moving on from the actual digital city support, are you all going to support each other? So how on earth are you going to carry this on? And it seems like there's a great group here and a great support. And are you all planning on doing something post-digital city to keep in contact and help each other?
Good question, David.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, I think definitely. That's why I said earlier on to Scott, we need a reunion, but Justin corrected me and said we need a union first. So yeah, definitely. We need to definitely arrange something to see each other in person rather than virtually in the cloud. So yeah, we'll definitely get something arranged. I'm sure about that.
I think what we've got here is a combination of the skill set at the disposal of this group, but clearly, I think what you're alluding to, David, is that there's amazing potential for some collaboration moving forward, either supporting the existing businesses that they're in, or maybe doing something new together.
Well, there's 2 or 3 businesses ahead of others, and that just is life. It's just what it is. And obviously, Jack's got something which he's a little bit more advanced because there's cash coming through the door, and he's growing by the sounds of it at a rapid rate. But with that will come an experience. He's a little bit ahead of the curve, and therefore there's an awful lot of experience that he's gone through that can be transferred onto others that aren't yet at that point. And for me, it's something that Digital City needs to do, or it needs to be part of across all programs, not just the Accelerator.
Yeah, thanks for that, David, by the way. I really do appreciate that as well. And yeah, I think we've got a Slack channel going forward as well. And obviously, we're more than happy to help out wherever, really, I think. And we do use it going forward. We have used it throughout the Accelerator, and hopefully we will use it going forward as well to just share and share a bit of advice where we can. I think, like Ahmed said as well, it would be good to sort of meet up because we're all in the same area. So it would be sort of good to meet up and then sort of get that going as well, really, and have like a roundup and a reunion sort of thing where we can see where we're all at and how we can go forward from there, really, I think.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Excellent. Okay, well, I'm conscious of time, so I'm going to.
Sorry to interrupt. Just before we move on, I want to recognise that Alan McPhail can't make it. I think you mentioned that he's struggling with illness. So I guess I want his presence to, want to name check him and his presence be recognised on the call as well. So he's really strong and sort of worthy participant too.
Absolutely, and we're hoping that Alan will be able to join us for the next demo day presentation in December, Justin. So that's something that would be keen to have him involved in. Thanks for mentioning that. And now on to our guest speaker, Robert Bedford of Juiced. It seems like a lifetime ago now, but Robert was actually on the last program that we delivered entirely face-to-face. When he joined the Accelerator, he'd already developed an international profile as an illustrator and designer of band merchandise, but he always had the ambition to take on more diverse clients and projects. Since then, Robert's navigated through the challenges of COVID, like all of us, undergone a complete rebrand, become an employer, and has taken on some great corporate clients. So I'm going to hand over to you, Robert.
Good morning, everyone. How are we all doing?
Brilliant, thank you.
I'm just good. Scott, could you just let me screen share, please? Single disabled participant screen sharing.
One moment.
Great to see a lot of familiar faces and names today. It's been a long time since I've seen some of you. And everyone's presentations this morning, fantastic. Very aware that you're all in very different places, but you know, you're all going up and you're all progressing forward, which is absolutely fantastic to see.
Hannah, are you with us? Could do with
a bit of tech support.
Yeah, I'm struggling to set you up as a
Sorry,
presenter.
Scott, 2 seconds. I'm just
Thanks,
doing
Hannah.
it.
We'll let you in, don't worry. We'll let you share your screen in a couple of minutes.
So I think I've just, can you try now? Because I think for some reason.
Yeah, it's came now. It's came now.
I don't know if I'm host or whatever. I don't know how that's happened.
So yeah, a little bit of a small talk by me. My name's Rob. I own a design studio called Juiced. And firstly, just a little bit about me as a bit of backstory. Obviously, my name's Rob Bedford, born and bred Teessider. I'm a lover of pizza, player of video games. Pretty much my two big passions outside of design. You know, I'm a Teesside University alumni. I graduated back in 2019 and immediately after handing in my final module, I was back on university campus working towards the foundations of what become Juiced. We're a design studio. We're based right in the heart of Middlesbrough's digital sector at Boho 5, and we're specialists in branding, illustration, and merchandising. But just saying that is just scratching the surface, really. And we also actually have an internal clothing brand as well called Skulls and Stuff, which, you know, during COVID, you have to find alternative revenue streams. That was really, really handy to have for us. And we're all about adding the juice to your brand for your people, because your customers are important to us at the end of the day as much as they are to you. You know, if we aren't, we're doing you a service, and, you know, if that service isn't benefiting you, you know, and your customers, that's where we've done wrong. So obviously I've just said that we're based in Boho 5. We've got a small team and we're currently reaching global clients. We're all about solving the problems for our customers, which in turn will help their customers, whether that is a rebrand, whether that is merchandising, whatever it may be. And we're actually approaching our second birthday, and looking back on everything we've achieved over that small time is quite crazy. So obviously I've mentioned a little bit about our services, but in a bit more depth. We cover brand development, bespoke illustration, editorial and design for print, commercial merchandising, which is probably my biggest passion right there, UX and UI design, social media content creation, and lecturing and workshops, which has been something that we've actually been dealing with for probably about 6 to 8 months now, working quite closely with the university for, which has been fantastic. They've brought us on to do some lecturing with a module. We've had a few companies come for workshops on social media management, branding, design, you name it. It's been really interesting to bring that into the fold of our services. So first up, you know, you actually see here, there's a few Digital City alumni here as well. We've got Odyssey, we've got Autumn Leaf Digital, we've got the Yoga Mike group, we've got a few. But we work with anyone and everything, really, because we're all about working with cool people who are passionate, from game developers to yoga studios, clubs to web developers. There's no client we won't work ourselves, and we pride ourselves with branding being our main export. Being able to help a brand reevaluate their look and feel, it brings a lot of joy for us. And when we can see that implemented out however they're wanting to, it brings a lot of good feelings for us. Now, as I already previously said, merchandising is probably the closest thing for me because it's been my longest export since before the business, when I was freelancing. And we work globally, providing merchandising solutions for your brand. Always remember how important the power of merchandising is, and sometimes it can be as simple as just putting your logo on a t-shirt. If someone sees that in the street and it has visually appealing, it makes people think. And as you can see, there's a few different clients here based, right here in Middlesbrough to Darlington, Manchester, and London. And then also like over to the US of A in LA, actually, with one of our newest clients, a brand called Lovecraft, who have recently worked on a Netflix production. So that's a really, really cool one for us as well, because we're one step away from working with a Netflix production as far as I see it. And we have a few internal pieces here as well, because as I had already said, having that alternate revenue stream during a global pandemic has been really, really handy for us. And right at the beginning, when the pandemic hit, I had to reevaluate a few things and see what changes I could do to keep the business afloat. Now, as well, we cover UI and UX. We did a lot of work with Odyssey, who were on Digital City a while ago. Having a solid base for your UI design, for your piece of technology, is pivotal to your customer's experience. It's already been touched on today anyway, but if your interface design isn't good, then customers are going to be leaving that. I would show a little bit more work about our UI design, but unfortunately, some of the projects that we've been working on and have worked on are still under NDA. So I can only show this Odyssey piece right now. But we did a bit of work on a game. We're looking to do some more work on a game in the future from a European client. And it's really interesting how it's kind of progressing right now. And then designing for print as well. It's also something that's very special to us, because like merchandising, it's something you can hold. And we've been working very, very closely with the university on some of their new products that are going to be revealed fully in the next few months. And being able to hold like a book or a brochure, whatever it may be, and actually feel the texture, feel the print, that's really, really special to us. But yeah, to get a bit of a better understanding of what we do in more depth, call me, let's do a coffee. It'd be great to talk to each of you. And there's a few other people who are here today who I actually know, who've spoken to in the past. But yeah, let's do a coffee or something, whatever it may be. Now, my journey since Digital City has been quite crazy. And this is actually a small note to say that when I was at demo day, I wore a death metal t-shirt to about 50 different people in business. And you've just got to stay true to yourself. I will always turn up to any sort of meeting wearing a t-shirt, because I'm not really a suit sort of guy. And I wore a death metal t-shirt in front of a bunch of people and made an impression. But it's also about being honest. And if there's anything that I've learned throughout being a freelancer, throughout owning a business, it is you have to be honest to yourself, because honesty creates, a relationship. It creates trust. Now, some of our biggest points from Digital City is we hired our first member of staff, Neve Dixon, our junior designer. Fantastic person. She's a great friend of mine, and she's a really talented designer. We moved into our new office space at Boho 5, which you can see a bit of behind me. We love Boho 5. It's a community. A bunch of our clients work here as well, which is fantastic. They're right on our doorstep. And we've also produced 12 in-house commercial pieces of merchandise as well, which has been fantastic for us. It's kept us afloat throughout the pandemic when projects, have dwindled. And, being able to have something that we can produce ourselves has been super, super fun to do. We've got a really good relationship with a printer that we outsource the printing to. And it means that we can just have creative reign on all of our products. Now, Scott did touch on this. We did do a rebrand through a pandemic. We used to be called A Bonehead's Home, as a few people here might know. Now, when I started the studio in 2019, we worked very closely with the music industry, producing album artwork, merchandising, and more. But as time went on, we changed our clientele. We started working more with corporate entities, and we evolved and we rebranded into Juiced. And this was to reflect the changes that we made to our services, our brand message, our brand strategy. It was a interesting time to do it and to choose to do it during a global pandemic. But when you know it's time, you know it's time. And whenever any of you here are about to do a rebrand, whether it be a full rebrand, a visual rebrand, you know when it's time, when it's time. And it's something that you don't just genuinely think about over time. It's something that's kind of, you're knocked on the door and you're presented with some, like a problem maybe, and you overcome it by maybe doing a rebrand. So obviously this was like quite a cool visual representation of what we used to be to what we are now. It was a very, very big change. Now, one of the things I want to say as well is that it's already been touched on a little by Ahmed, that, you know, like keeping in contact with your cohort is really important, because, you know, we're not alone. Now, this is I got a really good friend during the pandemic, and a business mentor in Jason Knights from Blue Kangaroo. He's been a really, really good friend to me for about 8 months now. A mutual friend of ours from the Department of International Trade put us together. You know, he's been working in Blue Kangaroo for 15 years. He's their CEO and director and owner. And, you know, having someone by my side has been absolutely fantastic. So just remember that, you know, none of you are alone. You know, there's people who are my Digital City cohort, like the Yoga Mike group, for example, who are very good friends with me now. And, you know, they've become clients. And just remember that you aren't alone. For anyone here who might be a sole director like myself, you aren't alone. But if there's anything I wanted to talk about today, it was mistakes. Now, I think there's a bit of a stigma when you own a business, and sometimes it feels like you can't talk about mistakes. And I wanted to kind of address that today for each of you, because you're all in various different spaces and various different stages of your businesses. Now, when I started Juiced, obviously I was a solo guy. I hadn't done a business before, and, you know, we all hold ourselves on a pedestal, and there was lots of side steps I made, lots of things I overlooked, which, you know, has let me be able to progress with my business more and more. You know, I take these mistakes on the chin, I reevaluate, and I step forward. But talking about these mistakes with other like-minded people has been one of the best things that's happened to me. You know, I used to think, oh no, I've made a mistake, I can't talk about it, I'm embarrassed, or whatever it might have been. But it's good to own it. And if you don't own it and you bottle it up, you know, it eats away at you. We are people at the end of the day, and we do need to, you know, realize this and kind of get rid of the stigma of, oh, we make a mistake, let's just not talk about it. And, you know, I've made a lot of mistakes, and the best medicine does taste awful, but, you know, I had to learn to love that. So, like, in line with that, one of the biggest things that I've learned throughout being in a business, it's about riding the wave. You know, I'm currently trying to land some projects with some household names like Marvel, HMV, and amongst a few other clients. But while I'm doing that, we're expanding our reach to new startup companies like yourselves, medium-sized businesses. And the best thing to learn, for me at least, has been that everything's about riding a wave. You know, sometimes you don't land that project or that client. Sometimes, you know, you don't. And that's completely okay, because there is a project, a client, a contact right around the corner. And with whatever your business is, just remember that you need to ride the wave. You need to take the bad along with the good, and you need to own that, because the process, you know, happens to all of us. It's the fun part of the journey, really. And, you know, who said owning a business isn't hard? So it's all about just remembering that, and it's all part of the journey, and to have fun with it. But on that note, thank you very much for having a listen to me. My name's Rob. I hope you've all had a really good demo day. I hope you've met some amazing contacts, and just remember to ride that wave, you know. So here's a pretty funny photo of me and my best mate Alf from my birthday last month. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can visit our website via juice.studio, our email info@juice.studio, or our social media channels. You know, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're on a lot of them. Drop me a message. Let's have a virtual coffee, or maybe even a coffee in person when, you know, restrictions are lifted.
Thanks very much, Robert. Lovely to hear about the journey that you've been on. Question for me, what's been your biggest challenge, and how have you overcome that?
my biggest challenge personally has been actually letting people in. As I've mentioned, I used to be a freelancer, so I would manage all parts of the project, from the business development through to the introductions, the sales, the design, drafting, feedback, finish, everything. I used to manage everything by myself, but now as we've started to grow, I don't have to do every step fully now. I can direct certain elements of design. I still handle all the business development, but being able to let someone come in like Neve has, like our previous biz dev guy had, and being able to like let people come in and do their job the way they're going to do it was the biggest thing for me, because I used to be a bit of a control freak.
So you've had to let go. You've had to become a businessman. You've had to manage a business.
Yeah, exactly. I've had to
delegate.
Realize that delegating is part of it, and having to step away from certain elements, is important to let the business grow.
Do we have any further questions for Robert from anybody? Would you be able to stop sharing your screen,
Yeah,
Robert?
I'll stop sharing that. No.
I'm just wondering if we have any questions from anybody for Robert before we move on. No? All quiet, Robert.
I know. I think I see Ahmed talking, but I don't know if he's muted.
I'm not getting this hang of this mute button, am I? Because I've got it on my headset and I unmute it, but sometimes it doesn't do it on Zoom. So I just want to say thank you for that. It was really, really inspiring. But I was going to say, so I'm by myself at the moment. How did you transition from going alone to working with someone and managing other people?
It was something that I dove in, and I didn't really know how to do it at the beginning. And there was a transition period for me, which was really hard. And it was just all about learning how to do it as I was doing it. That's literally how I did it. But as the days went by, I started realizing more and more that I'm hiring someone for a reason, and they need to come in and do their job. I'm delegating projects to them or tasks to them. I need to be able to step back and let them do what they're there for. At first, it was really hard.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it was just something that got easier with time.
Yeah, no, very good. Thank you so much.
At first, it's really hard, but it just gets easier with time.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Ahmed. Great. So I'm conscious of time, so we must move on. I guess, as is customary on demo day, I'd just like to welcome Amar Mirza to say a few words. Amar heads up SME Centre of Excellence, which is our very highly valued delivery partner. Over to you, Amar.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Delighted to be here again virtually. And Robert, well done on such an insightful and inspirational presentation, but also to see your journey firsthand. You were a delight during the program as well, and really appreciate that fun aspect to your business and to your perspective. From a dress point of view, I don't think I'd ever get away with wearing a t-shirt with some graphic on the front of it. It just wouldn't be me. And just thinking about being yourself, which is something we encourage. I started to wear a suit when I was 15 because I wanted to fit in, and it was my armor more than anything else. And I've never really changed since then. So whilst I don't necessarily need an armor, this is me. And regardless of however people feel comfortable, I feel most comfortable in this attire, although I would never inflict it on anybody else. So I just felt it was worthwhile highlighting that uniqueness. And secondly, that point, Robert, that you made around be yourself and don't try to be what other people tell you to be, really underpins the program that we deliver. So we follow best in class principles. We take and learn what other people are doing, but we tailor that to each and every single individual on the program. So we've never taken a one size fits all. And, you know, yes, we follow a structure because it's important to. Yes, we have learning outcomes and have a process. But outside of that, we wrap around the support dependent upon the needs of each of the individuals. I'm particularly proud and privileged to work with such fantastic people like Justin and Phil and those around us. You know, for me, our values of providing the right support at the right time just are amplified through what Scott and Martin and Digital City do as well. So we're really, really proud of our history, our heritage. We're really proud of our region as a whole. And we're really proud of everybody that we work with. So, you know, our programs are predicated on the three biggest growth enablers: digital transformation, innovation, and new markets. And we've got one of the biggest networks, not just regionally, nationally, but internationally. We work with a variety of countries. And, you know, from a quality assurance point of view, we are the only private sector enterprise agency that's been accredited by the Institute of Enterprise and Entrepreneurship. So to recognize the quality of our provision, every single other center of excellence is a university business school. So you can just imagine what they have to go through and what we've had to go through to get to where we are. However, it's not theoretically led or driven. It's all about practical experiences and expertise. And we're all really comfortable with sharing mistakes, lessons learned, and encourage all of that. And the final thing for me is, as I say, to thank and congratulate every single one of you here that are here today. And, you know, big round of applause, please. One ask from me is for everybody to turn the camera on, because one of the things I ask is for us to take a velfie, and that's a virtual selfie. So if you're there and you're able to, please turn your camera on so we can all see your happy, smiley faces. And I'm going to ask you to grimace attentively at the camera and hold that pose in a second once we've once everybody's turned the cameras on. It is obligatory and it's something that we share. It's a proud moment to bring people together and capture this moment. And whilst Kodak may not be around, it's almost that same principle where you do need to hold that pose whilst I sort of take a screenshot. And so please, if I may, I'll hide those that don't have their camera on, and that way we're all looking intently at and smiling at one another. So if I can ask you to please smile in a 3, 2, 1, big smile or big waves. Wonderful. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Alma. Thanks very much. And just before I close this morning's event, I'd like to acknowledge some of the people who've helped us make this programme a success. I'd like to thank Atif and Jessica from Endeavour Law, who delivered bespoke one-to-one legal surgeries with all of the businesses on the programme. I'd like to thank the local authorities and the partners on this call for continuing to refer some great early stage digital businesses our way. We're already recruiting to our October programme, so please keep them coming. Robert Bedford Juice for his presentation, SME Centre of Excellence for delivering another engaging programme and the added value that they always bring to it. And I'd also like to thank all of the businesses on the programme. We've really enjoyed working with you, and I'd like to wish you every future success with your businesses. And of course, many thanks to all of you for joining us and supporting us today. I'll speak to you very soon. Thank you.
Just one thing, Scott, and a big thanks to you as well.